So guys, we're back at it again. We're back at it again for another football battles, man. And this is an interesting one. It's just one because I think we may have done this before, but we want to give this the 2.0 treatment. We want to give this the 2.0 treatment, man. So you know what it is, man. It is, of course, the Pirlo, and your boy Xavi versus Pirlo, man. Two amazing, superb midfielders, you know. Iconic ones. Actually, let me make this a bit smaller. It's absolutely, there you go. It's absolutely iconic midfielders. So I think this is going to be good. I think this is going to be a real good, nice battle, man. And I think both guys who played the midfield role supremely, amazingly well, and were crucial for their teams. Both crucial for their teams. So, and remember, guys, with these things, I'm going to try to be as objective as possible. I'm bringing you the objectivity. So, let's get it. First one. Talent. Who's more talented? Tough. Both guys passing amazing. Football IQ amazing. The football IQ intelligence amazing. Ability to understand the position amazing. Because I think when you look at a central midfielder, which is what makes these guys so amazing, is you have to have a real clear understanding of the position. You know, that's why shout out to Gerrard and Lampard, they can't really enter this dojo. Scholes can maybe enter this dojo, but I think this is above Lampard and Gerrard's pay grade. Like these two guys, in terms of how to play the central midfield position, it is above Gerrard and Lampard's pay grade. Even your boy Henderson, will find it hard to get here. So it's tough. So how can I separate this? They're both amazing at passing. Decision making amazing. Both press resistant. You know, both able to find a pass from anywhere in any situation. However, I do feel there is one guy that had all those things, had all those central midfield fundamentals, but he had more to his game. And I feel that this guy was a free kick specialist. This guy, I feel, was a better dribbler. So the press resistance was also coupled with his ability to really get past guys and really advance much more with the ball. And also he was able to take long-range shots and scored a lot of amazing long-range goals. I've got to give this to the Pearl. It takes nothing away from Xavi, because Xavi was an outstanding central midfielder. Absolutely outstanding. But I just feel in terms of talent, and talent comes with what can you do? What can you do and how well can you do said things? I just think Pirlo was on a whole different level with that regard. With that regard of what he was able to do, he was on a whole different level. Because I just think, like, you know, I think that's free kick ability. And because I think in terms of central midfield, they're like boom, boom, boom. But Pirlo could do more damage in the final third, as opposed to Xavi. I don't think Xavi was as dangerous or as effective in the final third as Pirlo was. So, and I think Pirlo was a guy who, okay, you can play me as a number 10. I could easily play as a number 10, and I'm very comfortable playing and operating that final third. I don't think Xavi would have been as comfortable playing much higher up in the pitch as it was in the center. So I just feel there was more to Pirlo's game than there was for Xavi, even though Xavi was outstanding and excellent in that regard. So that's what I'm going to do. Whew, next one, impact. Whew, that's a tough one. 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 Impact. Whew, that's a tough one. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. Impact. Both were strong. Both had a massive impact because, bro, Pirlo was that dude. Xavi was that dude. They were both that dude. And I think at their heights, they were raved about with amazing, superb performances. But once this guy hit his peak, I feel his impact was greater. It takes nothing away from this guy, because I think this other dude, bro, he was freaking amazing. But when I just look at, because I want to just, okay, let's just see them at the very best, at the peak of their powers. And one guy at the peak of his powers, I just think that during his peak, he was more impactful and handle, because the impact is, how did he even impact the game of football itself, in and of itself? Like, so impact is just not how you impact your team. When I say impact, it's impact in a more holistic, grander sense of like, how did you impact football? Which is why I've got to give it to, yeah, I have to give it to your boy Xavi. There you go, I'm going to give it to your boy Xavi. Pirlo was that dude. Amazing performances, superb, actually crazy things. But once, because you know, Xavi took a while for Xavi to really get going. But once Xavi hit his peak, he was the system, and his importance was critical to Spain winning 3 international trophies and Barca winning that treble. So once Xavi really hit his peak, this guy was instrumental in changing football and how football was. And he was pivotal. He was arguably the most important piece in one of the most dominant international teams that we've seen, and one of the most dominant teams sides that we've seen. Bro, and nothing more so than that was the 2011 UCL final, which I think is one of the most one-sided halves of football I've ever seen. Like, that second half, 2011 UCL final, is one of the most one-sided I've ever seen. And Xavi was key. Like I told you, central midfield, that was my position. That was my position. My position was central midfield. Okay, that was the position I always played. And what I admired about Xavi was, bro, this guy never lost the ball. And if you play central midfield, you have to understand that, I don't care what anyone says, oh, striker. Central midfield is the most difficult position in football. It is the most demanding, both mentally and physically. And the ability to never lose the ball for the best part of a game, and to be so quick and to know what to do before the ball comes to you, Xavi was excellent at that. So I think, and Pirlo was that freaking dude. But Pirlo's importance to his teams wasn't the same as Xavi. Like, Xavi's importance was crazy. And I just think that it was a case of where, look, bro, football has changed. And football changing came, of course, with Pep Guardiola, but critically, Xavi's role and his ability to keep possession and control the tempo of a game, unlike any other player that we've ever seen. So, impact, I'm going to have to give it to your boy Xavi. Resume. What is it? But see, I like to make the resume thing interesting. So when I look at resume, I look at it qualitatively. So put it this way. Arbeloa. So if we're doing this between Arbeloa and Pirlo would win resume over Arbeloa. Do you know why? Arbeloa, yeah, you won all those trophies. You went critical. So my thing is that it's not only how many trophies you won, how critical were you to those trophies and medals. So yeah, Arbeloa, well done for winning those trophies. So what? Stephen Finnan has a UCL winner's medal. For me, that doesn't even count on his resume, because you did nothing to contribute. So the key thing is your contribution to said medal. Like, put it this way. So if we're doing Hazard right now, his UCL wouldn't count. I would not count his UCL. So that being said, taking that into account, like, this isn't even a debate. Like, this is not even a debate. Because even if we take the numbers that Xavi had, so World Cup, Euros, I believe Pirlo has the UCL. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think Pirlo won the UCL with Milan in 2007. You know, so there's that, but also there's also World Cup as well. And he was huge for that World Cup. He was massive for that World Cup. But for Xavi, bro, for that World Cup, those 2 Euros, critical. For that treble, critical. For that UCL in 2011, critical. So for every trophy Spain won, and for all of those Barca trophies, maybe escape because I think he was part of the 2015 squad, but he was not as critical then. So if we take the 09 treble, we take the 2011 UCL, we take the 08 Euros, we take the 2012 Euros, he was arguably one of the most important players. He was arguably one of the most important players for that thing. So the resume for Xavi, it's a comprehensive victory. It's a comprehensive dub for Xavi, and I don't think Pirlo can say anything about that. So resume, easy 100% goes to your boy Xavi. Else. This is, you know how you play Mortal Kombat? Flawless victory. This is a flawless victory. Like, this is a gentrification. This is a lubrication. This is a seismic. This is a kryptonic. This is a philosophizing. Okay, this is a devolution. Because Xavi's L's. No, I don't think. Xavi's L's really okay. Maybe at the start he wasn't that much of a feature. So he follows with records. So he was pretty much. You can say okay. He pretty much a nobody to begin with. So I'm thinking of it right now. I don't think Xavi has any glaring L's. He doesn't really have any glaring L's. Any of Barca's biggest beatdowns all happened after him. So if we look at Miracle, if we look at the Nightmare at Anfield, if we look at the Roma meltdown, if we look at 8-2, that all happened after him. For Pirlo, there are two. One is painful because one of which is personal. So before we get to the personal one, the first one is 05. Is the final. So I think, therefore, I play Pirlo's book, like his autobiography. Amazing. I recommend it. Amazing. Really good autobiography. And he said that one of the most embarrassing moments of his entire career, was the UCL final in 05, Istanbul. 3-0 up. You had Seedorf. You had Maldini, you had Nesta, you had Dida, you had Shevchenko. Amazing team. And those are the guys, they had a dude called Steve Finnan. They had a dude called Vladimir Smitsa. They had a guy from Jersey polling as a Polish dude. So, and Pirlo said, look, that is one of the most embarrassing moments of his life. And said, that is literally, as part of his career, one of the most disgraceful moments. So there is that shocking thing, which is a huge L. But the personal thing involves the guy that he's battling with right now. 2012. Because he was on the same pitch as Xavi. And in that same game, Xavi pulled off one of the greatest through balls I've ever seen, which was the pass he made to Jessica Alba. From deep, clutch from deep. Quarterback, what's up, baby? Tom Brady, he did it. He did a Patrick Mahomes Tom Brady pass from deep. So he dunks on Pirlo, right there. They both face each other, like for like, both in our final, and Xavi totally outperformed him, man. So that is the damning L. So for L's, man, because of Xavi, man, Pirlo, you need to react, man. Pirlo needs to react. This is getting bad. You're 3-1 down, bro. You're 3-1 down, bro. Iconic. There is a clear answer here. Because let's say, can you deliberate? No, there is a clear answer here. So one of these dudes, he does have an iconic moment. Yes, there are a few there. But they saw the guy. So because this guy has a moment for me that's an all-timer. And he has others as well, but he has moments for me which is one of the greatest pieces of skill I've ever seen in football. So, and you know, I'm a qualitative guy. So he says there's one thing that this guy does, that's one of the greatest things that I've ever seen. And for that, pretty much gives him the Dubinsky over this. So if we're going to keep it a stack, we're going to have to give it to your boy, Pirlo. So I already mentioned Xavi's amazing pass to Alba. Amazing pass to Alba, like in that 2012 final, which was huge, amazing. I mean, for Pirlo, you look at the top goals, but then there's the Panenka. So Euro 2012. So was it? I think it was I think it was 2016. I think it might have been Euro 2016, where he had a masterclass of a performance in that game. Joe Hart pumping up down, and the balls to not only believe you can do a Panenka, but to execute that Panenka to absolute beautiful perfection. Bro, that was like, because I remember watching that live and I was like, okay, that's different. Because he did that after just having a masterclass of a midfield performance in that game against England. But bro, I watched this almost on repeat. That pass to Grosso in a World Cup semi-final against the hosts in what I say is the best football match I've ever seen, in the 117th, 118th minutes of extra time. For, in my view, taking everything into account, that is the greatest through ball of all time. It is the greatest. So for me, it is the greatest assist of all time in terms of the quality of the assist and the context of the game in which the assist happened. Because, I mean, there have been amazing passes, but the fact of life, it was a World Cup semi-final. It was 0-0. It was edging towards penalties. And to execute that pass and the quality of the pass and the difficulty of the pass, I mean, so, and I just think that's, and I just think, and it's even almost size with his talents. I just think because Pirlo was just, there was more to his game, and Pirlo had more flamboyancy, and there was more flair to his game, and he had a lot more tatalatini, a way more short leg, a little more kaka, he had a lot more weighty with it. What did he do? So because he had that, that's why I'm gonna have to give the iconic skill to your boy Pirlo, man. You know, I just think that's Pirlo. But I don't feel Xavi was much more about consistent, doing a job, playing a role. I don't think he ever did spectacular things that were out of ordinary. But Pirlo was the man of the spectacular. And I think because there was so much into his game, he has just much more iconic standout moments than your boy Xavi. All right. Longevity. Ooh, longevity. So here's the thing here. Because, so what is longevity about? Longevity is really about, for how long did you say what's up? For how long were you able to say what's up? For how long period of time were you able to say what's up? So it's not only like, what were you doing in your older age? For how long were you able to really be that dude? How long were you able to be that dude? And I feel this is easier because I think for this guy, for the early part of his career, he wasn't really on the map. Once he got going, whoo-wee. Then once he did his thing, he sets off. Then, once he grew older, he then pretty much went away. So, but for this other guy, I feel earlier on he was that dude. He was that dude earlier on. And then he had his peak. And in his older age, he aged like fine wine. This is why I've got to give the longevity to your boy, Pirlo. So my thing is that, because remember, I even remember this. Xavi, I wouldn't say he disliked Rijkaard. He didn't get along with Rijkaard. Rijkaard just didn't value Xavi. And remember, this is also a manager's discretion. How Rijkaard saw the team. I remember Rijkaard was a midfield as well. So he played that midfield defensive role. Actually, was Rijkaard midfield? I think he was. Well, hold up. Because I think he was a midfielder. Oh, so yeah, there you go. He played as a defensive midfielder. So that was his role. So Rijkaard was a defensive midfielder, so he really understood that role. And it's so funny. Rijkaard and Pep both played the same position. But for Rijkaard, he just didn't see the value of Xavi for his team, whereas Pep did. So for Rijkaard, it was like, no. So and Xavi, he even has said that, yeah, like, look, Rijkaard just never gave me a look in. You know, so really Deco was ahead of him, Dino was ahead of him, and other guys were ahead of him. So I think even Van Bommel was around there. So yeah. So I think Xavi early on was hard for him to really break into the team. But once he broke into the team, he was that dude. And then once he had his peak, which was amazing, boom. But I think as he grew older, guys, Pirlo at Brescia. Pirlo at Brescia was amazing. That's why he ends his move to AC Milan, because early Pirlo, and what they say is that Pirlo, go look at Pirlo's clips at Brescia, he was a dribbler. So his game now became much more about passing and playmaking, but at Brescia, he was a dribbler. So he had way more Lala and way more Tata when he was playing at Brescia. So he was amazing at Brescia. We also saw what he did at Milan, what he did at his peak. Remember Pirlo with a beard? So Euro 2016, this is when he was an older guy. That is why everyone was saying, bro, this guy's aging like fine wine, because his football just evolved. He became even wiser as a football player. So even when you saw him at Juve, when he had a beard, I was now really into his 30s, he changed. So he lost his athleticism. He couldn't run as much, but he became smarter. He became wiser. And remember, he dropped deeper. So really, Brescia, Milan, he was much more of an attacking midfielder. As he grew older, lost his legs, he became deeper and much more of a deep-lying playmaker. So I just feel Pirlo's longevity as a whole, I feel was just greater than your boy Xavi. So because of just what he was able to do through that plethora of his career, from Brescia, Milan, Brescia, Milan, and then Juventus. Final one is roll square. So Pirlo fought back. Legacy. Who was a better legacy? This is a tough one, because both are amazing players. Both are superb. And I think both left a massive imprint onto the game. Both of them having a massive imprint on the game. Xavi, he was a system. Pirlo, one of the most skilled and graceful and talented midfielders that the game has ever seen. You know? Like, you watch clips of both of them and you're like, bro, there is no midfielder playing today that even touches or is even in the same vicinity as these guys at their peak. So this is a tough one. It's going to be hard to say. Who has a better legacy? Xavi or Pirlo? Xavi or Pirlo? I think it's going to have to be... Gonna have to give it to your... Nah, it's your boy. Nah, no, it's your boy. Yeah, it's your boy. It's Xavi. So let me explain why. Pirlo's that dude. And I love Pirlo. Pirlo is that African dude. But this is the reality here. Similar to what I was saying with Iniesta, but I think this applies more. Xavi was part of two historic teams. Scratch that. Xavi was pivotal to two historic teams. 10, 20, 30, 40 years from now, we will remember that Spain team that won 3 international trophies in a row. 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now, we will remember that Barcelona team from 08 to 2012. From 08 to 2012. Yeah, from 08 to 2012 as one of the most dominant sides and one of the best football sides that the game has ever seen. And Xavi was critical to both of those teams. So for Pirlo, amazing player. Like, go watch his skills. Look at what he was able to do. But I just feel that Xavi's importance to those two teams and what they achieved and their impact on the game I just feel his legacy will be greater. So for years, when we talk about that Spain team, when we talk about that Barca side, Xavi's name will be one of the first there. So of course you'll mention Messi. Of course you'll mention Iniesta. Xavi's name will be right there. Because Xavi was the heart and soul and was the building blocks and was the very foundation for what made that team function. Because those teams were about a particular intricate system. David Villa did his thing. Messi did his thing. Yeah. But every system needs a totem pole for it to operate, and Xavi was that. So I feel because of that, because of his role, because of how important he was to those two teams, and because of how without him, those two teams don't function. Without Xavi, Spain and Barca don't function. They don't operate. Because for them to operate, they had to control the tempo of the game and to consume you mentally and physically. They consumed the opponent mentally and physically. And the key orchestrator to that was Xavi. And because of that, I just think his legacy will just be slightly greater than Pirlo. So despite Pirlo just being, I feel, the overall better footballer, more flamboyant, a higher eye test, and him just having a lot more flamboyance to his game, I just feel that legacy-wise, who will be talked about more and who has left a bigger legacy onto the game, I think will be Xavi, just because of his key role in those two teams, man. So guys, that's the football battle for this week. Tell me what you think. Do you agree? Do you disagree? And give me suggestions for all football battles you want to see. So any other football battles you guys want me to see, put it in the comments below. Remember, Horseman Patreon members, they get an extra football battle, and then they get some legends and other interesting football battles. So if you like this football battles, think about becoming a Horseman tier member. Support your boy, supports football content, and gets access to that top tier footballing battle content. But yeah, tell me what you think. What other ones do you want me to do? And then I'll see you next Friday for the next football battle. Peace.